Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sarah Gravett. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Education at the University of Johannesburg. I think you will agree with me that our school choir is doing very, very well, and we are very proud of them. So welcome here at Funda UJabule School. You are now in one of the Funda UJabule lecture halls. And this was the last addition to the Funda UJabule School. And we will say later more about this. It is my pleasure to ask our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Ihron Rensburg, to welcome you and to make opening welcoming remarks. Now, Prof Rensburg, I know you don't like it that people sing your praises when one introduces you, so I won't do that. But what I want to do and must do is to acknowledge that you are not only the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Johannesburg, and in that respect, somebody who is working in the heart of education, but Professor Rensburg is also an educationist, and that makes it for me very special to have a Vice-Chancellor at the university who knows education, who is actively involved in education. So he's a commissioner of South Africa's National Planning Commission, and he is chair of the Working Group on Social Protection and Human Capabilities. Also important for the universities as such, that he was also a member of the Ministerial Committee on the Review of the Funding of Universities in South Africa, and was chairperson of Higher Education South Africa, the South African Vice-Chancellors Association from 2010 to 2011. And he was also chairperson of the Ministerial Committee on Student Accommodation from 2010 to 2012. So these are specifically some of the education things that I thought I would highlight. Professor Rensburg, we look forward to hearing you.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Okay, officially Sarah. Let me begin by greeting you all. Sanibona. Tobela. Goeiemôre dames en here. It's net 5 minute voor 12. Good morning, colleagues and friends. Today is a very special day. I was reflecting this morning and last night as I was gathering my thoughts for this very special day. And it's always risky to say that one occasion trumps another. But there are so many things that we do at the University of Johannesburg, presumably like any other university. We graduate thousands of students. Annually this year, 12,300 students. We inaugurate new professors. And I can go down the list of very important moments in the life of the university. And I want to say that this particular day, as we will learn during the course of the proceedings of this formal moment, is a very special one. But before I get carried away or ahead of myself, let me begin by acknowledging the many distinguished guests and friends and colleagues who have found time in your very busy schedules to come and join us. I know, for example, that Mrs. Ramaphosa was called out last night and still found time in her very busy diary to join us. So let me acknowledge our Chancellor, Professor UJabule. We're really grateful that you could find time in a very busy diary. And I know that there are so many issues that preoccupy you, but I'm recognizing you today not in those other roles, but as Chancellor of the University of Johannesburg. Allow me also to to acknowledge a few of our very important guests and partners in this journey that has brought us to this point, and the journey, of course, that continues beyond today. Honorary doctorate at the University of Johannesburg, Dr. Sizwe Ngasana. As you prepare to clear your desk as CEO of First Rand, we reflect on you and think of you as you gather yourself together for life after being CEO of First Rand, having done a fantastic job there. Of course, also chairman of the National Education Collaboration Trust, and as we will have noticed recently, chairman of the board of the very important National Student Financial Aid Scheme. He says that his plate is already full and nobody should approach him for other board positions. Ambassador Roland van der Heer, Ambassador Excellency, it's great to have you here representing the European Union. Ms. Cheryl Anderson of USAID, Southern Africa Mission Director. I know sitting in the audience, Dr. Rina Rampasat, the Chief Director Curriculum Development of GDE, who has journeyed with us from right at the outset. Dr. Whitty Green, the Acting Chief Director, Teaching, Learning and Development in the Department of Higher Education and Training. Really great to have you here. A colleague and friend who has joined us, who's really traveled with us also right from the outset on this important journey. Ms. Claire Digby from the Oppenheimer Memorial Trust. Mr. Graham de Vries from MTN, Corporate Services Executive. Ms. Gail Campbell, the Chief Executive of Xenix Foundation. Ms. Carly Furness Sims, representing the Elmer Foundation. And apologies, in fact, it is Ms. Vuyisa Nonsa. Where's Vuyisa? Oh, yes, Ms. Vuyisa Nonsa, who's representing Elmer this morning. Allow me also to recognize many colleagues on the executive of the University of Johannesburg. I know that there are many peer deans and executive directors to SARCI who have been able to find time, deputy vice chancellors and the registrar who have been able to find time to come and join us, and of course the colleagues in the Faculty of Education for whom this is a very proud moment as well. Allow me also to recognize the school principal. I'm sure that you will have noticed now the slay of hand in Funda UJabule. You got that right? Funda UJ. Yeah, Funda UJabule. You've seen the colors as well, I'm sure. So let me also recognize our partner in this important journey, partner to SARCI and colleagues, Ms. Rebecca Maboya, who's the principal of Funda UJabule, and of course your colleagues as well. Of course, we have a full bench here of the SRC in front of us. The Student Representative Council, the chairman of the Soweto campus and your team, warm welcome as well. So allow me just to express very brief words of welcome and appreciation. As I have already alluded to, this is a very special day for us. It takes us to the next stage of the evolution of this very important project that brings together Gauteng education on the one hand through the school, and the University of Johannesburg, our Faculty of Education, through the training that we undertake in foundation phase education and intermediate phase education on this campus. And so it brings us together in a very interesting and in a challenging manner. So the question that must lurk in your minds is, why establish the school here at the Soweto campus? I should of course say that in addition, the university does have if I can call it that, a model high school as well. And I know that the principal of our high school, UJ Metropolitan Academy, is also here. And so you may then still ask the question, so why establish a school here at the Soweto campus? That story, part of that story, or the narrative that leads us to, enables us to engage with that question, has of course to do with Soweto itself, its own story of struggle, its own story of firstly its making in resistance, and of course its subsequent place in the liberation struggle in 1976. And I shall concede that I myself am a 76er. I somewhat come after the Black Consciousness Movement Chancellor, although I guess in my early formation I was very much a Black consciousness activist, or informed by that tradition as well. Nonetheless, fast forward from 1976, and the question then became, after 1994, and in particular 2005, when we founded the University of Johannesburg in January of that year, so what is the place of the Soweto campus? A marginal campus, small campus, 1,000 students. We had big dreams for this campus. We knew that it was in our calling as the leadership of the University of Johannesburg to establish here a model, in fact, a world-class model campus, inside, if you insist, a so-called township. It was important for us to not simply shut down this campus because it was an option. Shut down the campus and simply move staff and the 1,000 students uptown to Auckland Park. It was important for us to lay down the marker here and to demonstrate in practice that it is possible to have a thriving, a flourishing, a world-class campus here in Soweto, because that is what the people of Soweto deserve. That is what South Africa deserves. That is what Africa deserves. That is what our planet deserves. It deserves here a campus that our people can look up to and be proud of. Not only Sowetans, yes, in the first instance Sowetans, but not only Sowetans. And so you will have noticed that this campus has evolved from a small campus to a flourishing campus of some 6,000 students, to a flourishing campus, sprawling campus for that matter, to a campus that has seen us invest jointly with the state, the Department of Higher Education and Training, jointly invest with the state until now some 700 million rands. A big investment, big decision that we made to make this a landmark campus, and, if you insist, a lighthouse for the continent. At the core of the establishment of this campus, at the core of it, sits the Faculty of Education. And so, if you like, the anchor tenant of this campus is the Faculty of Education. I recall when I put it to the Dean of the faculty, Professor Gravett, and presumably heard to her colleagues that we're considering moving foundation phase and intermediate phase, if you like, primary school education from APK, from Kingsway campus to Soweto. Remember that conversation? And remember the motivation? That education, the education faculty will be the anchor, will sit at the core of the building of this new campus. And so if you ask any of these colleagues today, shall we move, when we move the program, or shall we move the program to Auckland Park, they'll be the first to start a toi-toi. They'll be the first to resist. And so what we've constructed here, together with Sarki and the colleagues, is a faculty of education that is at the forefront of innovation. Is a faculty of education that is struggling with, challenged by, but forging ahead. And is turning this campus into a center of excellence. The research that's being undertaken through the Center for Education Practice Research, the training of masters and doctoral graduates at this university, of course together with the undergraduate teaching that occurs on this campus, together with what we inaugurate today as this model school, as this extraordinary innovation, as the first of its kind here in South Africa and, dare I say, on the continent. Why establish this? Established it because not only of the response to the call for teacher education to challenge more vigorously with the demands of teaching, to be challenged to engage more vigorously with this question of the theory-practice divide. And the colleagues will speak about that in a moment. And so we challenge the colleagues, and they are challenged, and they engage with this question of constantly improving the training of teachers in this theory-practice divide. So that was important for us. As important is, or are the further elements of this work. It's about access for our communities here to outstanding, to the very best primary school education. You won't get better primary school education, I dare say, in Soweto or in Johannesburg than what you will experience here at the University of Johannesburg, Soweto campus. And so we can go through all of that long list of key objectives, but ultimately, what we're doing here is establishing a center of excellence that is fast becoming the reference point, the talking point for innovation in teacher education and in closing the gap. Yes. Center of excellence, a point of reference, a point of pride, a place of great honor, a place of great privilege. And so we come together then today to really celebrate this point that we've reached, to give thanks to all of those who have thought through, dreamed of, debated about, argued for, argued against, argued for resources, got some resources, went to partners and donors and friends in our donor community, lobbied and mobilized. And so it's to give thanks to all of those who have dreamt, who have imagined, and who have given life to this extraordinary project that we have in front of us. And so it gives me therefore great joy. It's a very special privilege. It's a great honor to firstly say thank you for honoring us with your presence. It's a great privilege because your presence elevates us, because your presence affirms for us that we're on the right track. Your presence affirms for us that we are struggling with, grappling with the right issues. And we know that when you walk away from here today, that your spirit will remain with us, that the confidence and the hope and the optimism and the resilience that you imbue us with your presence, that will remain, and then that will inspire us in this ongoing journey in the pursuit of excellence in education for our nation. Beginning here by showcasing, by demonstrating what can be possible. So thank you once more for your time, and we hope that your time with us will be as enriching to us as it will be enriching to you. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, many thanks. And colleagues, here I need to acknowledge that the Vice-Chancellor supported this project from the onset. And I don't know whether there would have been many Vice-Chancellors in the country who would have run with such a mad idea, in a sense, to establish a school on a campus. So, Vice-Chancellor, many thanks also from us for the very important role that you've played in helping us and supporting this project on the Soweto campus.
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.